Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Emerita Professor Tasnim Ahsan.
Assalamu alaikum, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that enlightening talk, and I will pick it up from there. We, the women, and I'm particularly referring to the doctors and the nurses, we have been in the workforce for the longest time, largely unsung and unacknowledged. And we have kind of worked the kind of duty hours that no other profession does. And there wasn't a brother or a father or a son with us while we were doing our night on calls in deserted places, in very dangerous circumstances, and now quite often getting beaten up too in the course of performing our duties. So I'm glad that these kind of things are happening. I would be very miserly if I took any credit for whoever I am or what I have been able to achieve, because I do not think that anyone achieves anything in isolation. And I would not say that my father allowed me to study or my husband allowed me to work. That word does not or should not exist in our vocabulary. They enabled us, but not allowed. I don't know what I would maybe have obeyed my father, but I would certainly not have obeyed my husband. I would have, if he had tried to stop me from doing something, I would have done it nevertheless. And, God knows what would have happened to the marriage, but, it would have happened. But I am very, very fortunate. I am exceedingly fortunate in the sense that I know of horror stories of women after getting married. And I know this because I'm a teacher. So I have had successive generations of young doctors and sometimes nurses come to me with their horror stories. But I have no personal experience of a horror story because I have only been surrounded by enabling men and women. It isn't just men who enable. So to start with, I come from an immigrant family of Bihar. My mother was homeschooled, but despite that, she's probably one of the most highly educated women I have had the pleasure of knowing. And I'm so fortunate. I'm so fortunate that she was my mother, because the driving force for us was her and not my father. My father was a civil engineer who worked for the Pakistan Army, and he provided, but she was the one who executed the agenda. And now that I've raised a family of 3 children of my own, I just marvel at their grit and their courage for having the dreams that they had for their family. I come from 5 siblings. All 5 of us are doctors. All 5 of us are specialists. We were not pushed into becoming doctors. We were just told to study well, to give it our best. And that's what we did. We just kind of followed each other. But my mother's driving sentence for us was, whatever you do, do it well. And whatever you do, you should be standing on your own 2 feet. And the sentence that she always repeated, I guess my father must have been stingy, or he had to be. He was just an honest man making a salary and raising 5 kids. She said, ताकि तुम्हें अपने मियाँ के आगे हाथ ना फैलाना पड़े. This was her, overriding drive for pushing her girls into it. So we often laugh and we say we are a limited edition, because we are an edition where we obeyed our parents, we did our professional education, we do our professional work, but our mothers have taught us all the home skills or life skills that they were in possession of. So I can stitch my clothes, I can do embroidery, I can knit, I can crochet, I can do all of those things. My girls cannot stitch, cannot embroider, cannot do anything. They can work on the computer. But guess what? I do the computer stuff as well. I do everything that they do. So I'm a limited edition. somewhere along the line, our girls lost all those skills, but it's sad. When I go to America to my daughter who lives there, I have 3 children, by the way, and this is another myth. People think that if you're a working woman, उनके बच्चे तो बर्बाद ही होंगे. So मैंने अपनी नज़र में वर्किंग वुमेन अराउंड मी उनके बच्चों को बर्बाद होते नहीं देखा. मैंने घर बैठी औरतों के बच्चों को ज़्यादा बर्बाद होते देखा है एज़ कम्पेयर टू women. So when I go to my daughter in Philadelphia for my holidays, she has a stack of clothes जिसमें किसी में सुराख होगा, किसी में कुछ और होगा. And the first thing I do is my darning duties for her clothes. She can't do it herself, and I take part of the blame. So that is the kind of enabling a family, immigrant family from Bihar, deprived of all their belongings twice in life. Once at partition, and then again at the fall of Dhaka in 1971. But they never lost their dreams. And we have 4 sisters and a youngest brother. The easiest thing my father could have done was married us off quickly and gotten his hands free for his son and, raised him with everything. But he educated all of us the same, equal opportunities. So that's the kind of enabling environment I come from. And I will always eternally be grateful to my parents and the extended family. I'm a product of my extended family, my friends, my colleagues, everything. I think all of them come together to give you success. I am a professional endocrinologist. When I started in medicine, I had that only one in the room experience because there weren't any female physicians. So a physician was supposed to be a man. So if you were a female physician, your patients thought that you probably are half as good as the man who's, which is probably not true, but you had to work doubly hard to prove yourself. So once you prove yourself, then, in order to prove yourself, you have to put up this brave facade. You may feel scared inside, but you have to put up this very brave facade. And the men don't like brave women. So there are all kinds of names for you. If you are brave and confident, then you're too tough and you're too strong and you're too rough and all of those things. You're a man and you're wearing pants and things like that. And if you're soft, then you're not fit for leadership positions. So you have to be, there's no winning, in other words. This is called the Goldilocks phenomenon, by the way. It is very well recognized. In this country, we keep saying, hum mardon se zyada. I don't know why we say that. The statistics are that there are fewer women in this country as compared to men. 48.7% to be precise, 51% men, and 0.2% other genders. So where are these missing women? And the women numbers are made up in the older women. So there are more alive older women as compared to younger women. There's no infanticide in this country. That is what my gynecologist sisters tell me. They don't come across that. But certainly girls are dying at a young age because they're not looked after like boys are. So we are losing our young girls at a very young age. Gender discrimination is the bane of our workplaces and our society. अभी बात ये सेशन शुरू हुआ था माँ की कदर के बारे में. ये इतना strange phenomenon है. Yes, we as Muslims, because it's mentioned in the Quran, we keep singing praises of maa ka darja. But it just stops at there. That woman is a maa, she's a sister, she's a biwi, she's a daughter, she's a friend. हम एक औरत की इज्जत सिर्फ इसलिए क्यों नहीं कर सकते कि वो एक इंडिविजुअल है, एक औरत है, एक बराबरी की ह्यूमन बीइंग है. तो सिर्फ माँ की कदर ना करें, आपके इर्द गिर्द जो माँ की बाय ऑल मीन्स करें, उसका तो हुक्म है, लेकिन जो और औरतें आपकी बीवियाँ हैं उनकी भी इक्वली कदर करें, उनको अपनी मुलाजमा ना समझें. So, like my mother raised us, raise your daughters right. Don't raise them as Cinderellas. Don't make them doctors to find a good husband because they're doctors, okay? Raise them to stand on their own feet. and be confident and raise them like you raise your boys. My only brother was raised no differently than us. In fact, they were more rigid and rigid. Okay, so there's a very nice saying: don't raise them to fit into glass slippers, but raise them to break the glass ceiling that stops them to achieve their objectives. When you choose a partner, and you don't have to choose a partner, by the way. Those of you who don't feel like choosing a partner, don't. But just don't get married because you have to have a partner. So choose very wisely. Don't just get married because एक आदमी साथ लटकाना ज़रूरी नहीं है. I have seen such miserable stories, heard such miserable stories of wonderful girls for no reason on earth. अगर आपने गोल गरम रोटियां खानी हैं तो उसके लिए डॉक्टर से क्यों शादी करनी है? फिर आप किसी मासी से शादी करें, वो अच्छी गरम गोल पतली रोटियां आपको टाइम से पका के देगी. So, we have to get our priorities right, choose your partners right, and and when you choose a partner, please find somebody who's ready to walk with you, who doesn't want to walk behind him. And that should make a lot of difference. So be beside your partner. You need to find workplace balance. So give your work your best, but at the same time, don't drown yourself with work. You need to find that time to be at home and to be with your family and raise your kids right and do all the other things that need to be done. ये जो once the only phenomenon जो होता है, the only woman in the room, that is a recipe for a lot of trouble. Because जब आप अकेले होते हैं तो आपके लोग आपको ridicule करने, आपकी opinion को reject करने की बहुत वो समझते हैं. There is a phrase called mansplaining. I am hoping that the men over here know what that means, which is what when a woman starts to speak and gives a point of view, a man quickly takes over and gives ये कहना चाह रही हैं, इसका मतलब ये हुआ. हालांकि उसका मतलब वो नहीं होता जो वो समझा रहे होते हैं. But that's the mansplaining. Conversation को कहीं और ले जाएं और उसकी बात करें. In all this work, prioritize your family. Because जब सब कुछ चला जाएगा तो जो रह जाएगा वो आपकी family होगी. So at no point उस work के लिए अपनी family को तबाह करें. ये मैं औरतों के लिए नहीं कह रही, सिर्फ ये मैं हर काम करने वाले बंदे के लिए बोल रही हूँ. आप थोड़ा सा बीमार हो जाएं, आपको समझ आ जाएगी work कितना important है. When you're not capable of working, you'll realize who you fall back on. So take care of your families and be with them. And take your vacations, and above all, have hobbies. Some hobby, something. Because औरतों के बहुत hobbies होती हैं, बहुत तरीके होते हैं. Women talk to each other also. Men tend to keep things to themselves, and when they retire, they're devastated because they don't have the daftar and the kursi and the maze to sit on, which is what gives them their kick, their persona, everything that goes with it. So, if you have hobbies, and particularly if you read, पढ़ना एक ऐसी चीज़ है, आप कुछ भी पढ़ें, पोइट्री पढ़ें, उर्दू की पढ़ें, इंग्लिश की पढ़ें, शायरी पढ़ें, उर्दू की फिक्शन पढ़ें, उससे दिमाग खुलता है, दूसरों का पर्सपेक्टिव समझ में आते हैं, आप अपनी लाइफ में पोजीशन रीएडजस्ट करते रहते. So I could talk endlessly about this thing, and the other thing is about adopting a charity and a cause. I think इससे ज़्यादा therapeutic और कोई चीज़ नहीं होती. अपनी energies को किसी charity की तरफ भी लगाइए, किसी और तरफ भी देखिए. Equality achieve करने के लिए अपने आप को assert करना पड़ता है, सब लोगों के साथ मिल को लेके चलना होता है. So friends, spouse, partner, family, colleagues, mentors. So and your institution or practice and everything. जो mentors पे मैं थोड़ा सा रुकूंगी. और आजकल की जो ख़बरें आ रही हैं, जो लड़कियों के साथ हो रहा है, नवाब शाह के मेडिकल कॉलेज से की कहानियाँ, चांदका की कहानियाँ, पंखों से लटकी हुई मेडिकल स्टूडेंट्स एंड नर्सेज एंड हरासमेंट की स्टोरीज़ जो सोशल मीडिया पे इस वक्त चल रही हैं. सो ये क्या है? ये अकेली अकेली लड़कियां ट्रैप हुई हैं कुछ प्रेडेटर किस्म के मर्दों से, और ये प्रेडेटरी बिहेवियर जो है ये बड़ी इंटरेस्टिंग चीज़ है. आई एम वर्किंग ऑन अ प्रोजेक्ट वेयर आई एम कलेक्टिंग द स्टोरीज ऑफ वुमेन इन मेडिसिन, बिकॉज हमारे गाने कोई नहीं गाएगा, हम खुद अब अपने गाने गाएंगे, हम सीख रहे हैं. तो मैं उनके पास गई, द फर्स्ट जनरेशन ऑफ डॉक्टर्स, उनसे मैंने बात की, आप लोग एक एक होते थे, आपको कॉलेज में डर लगता था, हाउ डिड द मेन बिहेव विद यू? Invariable answer: the men were like our fathers and our brothers. हमें किसी ने तंग नहीं किया. That's not the story now. अब तो आपको जिस ट्रांसपोर्ट पे आते हैं वहाँ से तंग करना शुरू करते हैं, जो चौकीदार तंग करना शुरू करता है, क्लास फेलोज तंग करना शुरू करते हैं, प्रोफेसर्स आर बिहेविंग लाइक अ प्रेडेटर. सो दिस इज़ अ न्यू this is the evolution of our society, and this just reflects the degradation that we have experienced as a society. And to counter that, I think we need mentors. I think every student, nursing, doctor, whoever, should have a senior mentor. That mentor should be a woman for a woman. And every institution has those kind of people. And there should be a safety group, or some kind of WhatsApp group. If these women were not alone, they would probably be better protected. At the institutional level, I take advantage of the FAMIVO group here and the senior people here, that diversity both in terms of ethnicity, in terms of gender, including the transgender people, is the need of the hour. And when you're hiring, you need to do that. And then your work environment should take account of the needs of a working woman with a family. So there has to be flexibility to allow that woman who has children to work from home. ये थोड़ा सा आसान हो गया Zoom वगैरह की वजह से कि they do their tasks, but they also look after their family. So the institutions and organizations can do a great job in this equality. Last of all, I'll just talk about my time as a director at Jinnah Hospital, which is one of the most difficult periods of my working life, because I worked for 5.25 years as director of Jinnah, which should not have been so difficult, because I was in that institution. I had ran a department, and that is an academic institution. Things should not have been that difficult, but it was difficult because of political meddling and the entrenchment of political parties and over there, and the vested interest and the dishonesty, and all of those things put together. So it was a very difficult time. It was also a very violent time. This was the period during which we had the maximum mass casualties in this city, and we dealt with it very effectively. Not I, don't say I, all of us there who were delivering that care at that time. And we kind of won accolades for the care we delivered. So I got out of it alive, because I didn't do it, shying away from challenges. I confronted everybody I could for whatever this, and got away with it. So, and I confronted all political parties. I got letters written in green ink to allot a house to someone, or this to someone, or admit someone, and I just wrote a polite letter back. This is the process for allotment. I am not allotting houses to anyone. And I got away with it. I did retire honorably. I was thrown out once, and I saw it on TV as a ticker. जिन्ना अस्पताल की डायरेक्टर और जॉइंट डायरेक्टर को करप्शन के चार्जेस पे बरतरफ कर दिया, सस्पेंड कर दिया गया. And the next morning I went to court and filed a case, and we were heard urgently. And in the next hearing, which was the next day or the third day, we were reinstated. So this is how you work, you give it your best, you work honestly, and I refuse to accept कि चाहे आप गवर्नमेंट सेक्टर में हो चाहे उधर हो, कि हम तो कुछ कर नहीं सकते, इतना प्रेशर आता है. प्रेशर मुझ पे भी आता था. 5 साल मैंने वो प्रेशर बर्दाश्त किया, got out of it alive. किसी से गलत काम ना किया, ना करने दिया. Thank you very much.